What's up, cool people? I'm Matt Conroy. Welcome back to our Bible study. All right, so now we're looking at Leviticus 24, and last chapter we went over basically like the different special occasions that God's people were supposed to celebrate throughout the year. This chapter seems like it's something totally different and unrelated. But I'm sure there's a connection. I mean, at the very least, it's connected in the general theme of, holiness and purity and keeping God's commands and whatnot. But there's often other connections, within these as well. Even just going from chapter to chapter. But we'll just have to wait and see. So here we go. Leviticus 24. The Lord said to Moses, "Command the people of Israel to bring you pure oil of pressed olives for the light, to keep the lamps burning continually. This is the lampstand that stands in the tabernacle, in front of the inner curtain that shields the Ark of the Covenant. Aaron must keep the lamps burning in the Lord's presence all night. This is a permanent law for you, and it must be observed from generation to generation. Aaron and the priests must tend the lamps on pure gold lamps on the pure gold lampstand continually in the Lord's presence." Sorry, got a little caught up in the wording there. So footnote there probably just says in the tent of meeting, outside the inner curtain of the testament. Okay, so yeah. Rather than this wording that we have in verse 3, a more word-for-word translation of the Hebrew probably reads closer to what the footnote says. But, I mean, the tent of meeting was just another way that they referred to what we call the tabernacle, and the testimony was just another way of referring to the Ark of the Covenant. So anyway, so I guess this command was just related to that particular moment, because it's not saying, do this on a certain day of the year or anything like that. But, yeah, we might get more on that here in a second. So we'll move on to verse 5. "You must bake 12 flat loaves of bread from choice flour, using 4 quarts of flour for each loaf. Place the bread before the Lord on the pure gold table, and arrange the loaves in 2 stacks, with 6 loaves in each stack. Put some pure frankincense near each stack to serve as a representative offering, a special gift presented to the Lord. Every Sabbath day, this bread must be laid out before the Lord as a gift from the Israelites. It is an ongoing expression of the eternal covenant. The loaves of bread will belong to Aaron and his descendants, who must eat them in a sacred place, for they are most holy. It is the permanent right of the priests to claim this portion of the special gifts presented to the Lord." Okay, footnote there is probably just going to mention the original Hebrew measurement. So, again, whether this was a one-time thing or an ongoing thing, I mean, obviously the oil would need to be replaced every once in a while, or refilled, maybe is the better word, for the lamps. Because otherwise, you can't keep the lamp consistently burning if you run out of the oil. And verse 8 here mentions the bread being, an ongoing expression of the eternal covenant. So, obviously this was not just a one-time thing. But it just doesn't say when exactly it happens. But I suppose that's not really a big deal. I think the point was that there was consistently oil for the lamp and bread for the priests, basically. kind of, upkeep of the tabernacle in a way, with the oil being for the lamps and sort of upkeep of that, and the bread being for the priests who were in charge of, kind of overseeing the tabernacle and, the offerings and other things that happened within it. So anyway, and I guess you could connect that back with all the festivals and stuff, because all the offerings and things like that would have to happen, in or around, depending on what you think of as the tabernacle. Because, if you think of the courtyard as part of it, then it would probably be inside of it. But if, you think of the tabernacle as just like the inner tent portion area, then a lot of those offerings probably happened, in the outer courtyard. But in any case, they were all closely connected with and would happen in the general vicinity of the tabernacle. Therefore, let's make sure the tabernacle is continually up and running and is ready to, have all these different offerings and festivals and things like that happen. Anyway, okay, moving on to verse 10. One day a man who had an Israelite mother and an Egyptian father came out of his tent and got into a fight with one of the Israelite men. During the fight, this son of an Israelite woman blasphemed the name of the Lord with a curse. So the man was brought to Moses for judgment. His mother was Shelomith, the daughter of Dibri of the tribe of Dan. They kept the man in custody until the Lord's will in the matter should become clear to them. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Take the blasphemer outside the camp and tell all those who heard the curse to lay their hands on his head. Then let the entire community stone him to death. Say to the people of Israel, those who curse their God will be punished for their sin. Anyone who blasphemes the name of the Lord must be stoned to death by the whole community of Israel. Any native-born Israelite or foreigner among you who blasphemes the name of the Lord must be put to death." Okay, so getting into a few more rules and punishments for things. Now, it was previously mentioned about, not blaspheming God's name, but I don't remember an associated punishment mentioned with it previously. Also, footnote there. So it just says, the original Hebrew, again, word for word translated, would probably say something closer to just the name instead of the name of the Lord. But it was kind of implied that that was the name in question. So the fight wasn't even the reason for the punishment. It was the blasphemy against God's name. And the punishment was stoning to death. Not too much else to explain there. Seems pretty cut and dry. There was the laying on of the hands, which I'm not quite sure what the point of that was. Other than maybe in a similar manner to, how putting the hand on the head of the goat or an animal that was being slain was supposed to, impart sin upon that. Maybe, this was to sort of impart any idea of the sin, which in this case was blasphemy, that, the others might have heard, and just put that all upon the guilty party or the person who blasphemed God's name. But anyway, okay. Moving on to verse 17, and I think this will probably just I think I'll probably just go through the rest of the chapter and wrap it up then. Anyone to... Okay. If I can, stop tripping over my own tongue here. Verse 17. Anyone who takes another person's life must be put to death. Anyone who kills another person's animal must pay for it in full, a live animal for the animal that was killed. Anyone who injures another person must be dealt with according to the injury inflicted. A fracture for a fracture, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Whatever anyone does to injure another person must be paid back in kind. Whoever kills an animal must pay for it in full, but whoever kills another person must be put to death. The same standard applies both to native-born Israelites and to the foreigners living among you, for I am the Lord your God. After Moses gave all these instructions to the Israelites, they took the blasphemer outside the camp and stoned him to death. The Israelites did just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Yeah, so, again, kind of just different rules and things like that. Very, very cut and dry, like, all right, you kill someone, your punishment's death. You kill an animal, pay it back. Like, replace that animal. And here you have the origin of the fairly well-known eye for eye kind of idea, which eventually Jesus kind of, flips that idea on its head and practically, I don't want to say he gets rid of it, but he basically ends up refuting it, saying that, maybe don't pay back wrongdoing. So, anyway, that might be something to look into whenever we eventually get to that passage in the New Testament. But, yeah, that has me wondering, and / hoping that, New Testament passages will, have references to the Old Testament passages, and maybe as we're reading through here, I might be able to, just do some quick lookups and make the connections between the Old Testament passages that we're reading now and the New Testament passages that end up referring to those, to kind of make a little bit more sense out of all that. But that's way down the road. So, yeah. Guess that does it for this one. Okay, so, after all these chapters of different laws and standards and things like that, we kind of finally had an instance, an example, you might say, of those being enforced, or at least something relevant to those being enforced. Also, there was a little bit about, keeping oil and bread supplied for the priests, the bread so they can eat, obviously, and the oil so they can keep the lamps burning, because those are supposed to constantly be burning. So anyway, yeah, I guess that about wraps it up for the chapter. So, as always, like and share if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell to get updates when I post new videos. Look down in the description to get info on social media pages and all that good stuff. And leave comments below that with any thoughts you have. So that's it for now. Hope you're all doing well. Hopefully I'll see you for the next video. But until then, stay cool, people.